a bright future ahead for this young Filipino who took home 2 awards at this year's International Model United Nations in Indonesia. Now, let's get to know Best Delegate and Best Position Paper awardee, Anton Benedict Garcia, tonight here on The Final Word. Anton, thank you for your time. Congratulations, no? You bagged 2 awards at the International Model United Nations 2022, which was held in Jakarta. Siguro tell us muna, paano mo ba pinaghandaan? How did you prepare for this gathering of young people from all over the world?
Good evening. Thank you po for the opportunity. With International MUN, our preparation started from school-based practices and circuits way back in around October 2021. And actually, my participation in IMUN, which was sponsored by our institution, the Philippine Science High School System, it came as an award from a circuit or a simulation itself that was from all the 16 campuses of Pisay. So it was a great opportunity, but at the same time, it was also my best training for myself, where I learned from my social science teachers and, of course, my peers who had the same interests in social science and in international diplomacy, and, of course, aspiring diplomats ourselves.
How did you get to select the topics you will be tackling in your position paper, as well as your participation as a delegate in that forum?
In terms of the topics themselves, they were set by the organization, so that's IMON itself. But in terms of the stand and the substance of the position paper, so we had the opportunity to select which country we would like to represent at the simulation conference. Of course, I chose the Philippines since I believe the topics were quite relevant in terms of making education quality and accessible, and as well as preserving cultural heritage. So I thought those were very good topics. Those were very relevant topics for the Philippines, and something that I wanted some of my fellow Filipino youth to be aware of as well. So I chose the Philippines.
Yeah, there are about 100 delegates from from different countries that participated in this gathering, but you were awarded the best delegate. What do you think was your edge over the other candidates?
In terms of the edge, I think aside from the proficiency in what they called the rules of procedure in the simulation conference, I think it was a lot about learning from my past experiences and almost being empathetic in terms of I was representing someone else that was not me right now, someone that I wanted to be, but I'm not yet right now. And I was talking to people with vastly different backgrounds, representing countries which they might not even be entirely familiar of as well. So it was a lot about understanding, making sure that you're open, you're listening. At the same time, you remember why you're there and you remember the substance of the topics themselves. So it was, again, education and cultural preservation, topics which I was very passionate in myself, as my interest in STEM and humanities as well.
Well, you also won the best position paper. You have 2 papers that you submitted. Now, talk to us about the topics of these papers that you prepared.
So the first topic was ensuring quality education, especially amidst the pandemic, where virtual learning seemed to be the only option, but at the same time, a lot of countries were still not ready to transition into digital learning. So with that, my stand as the Philippines was to incorporate blended learning and to make sure that advancement is not only up to par with other countries, but it is also inclusive. So I always mentioned during the conference itself that we should not measure success by its top, but instead at its bottom, where the not the leading baggage, the lacking sector, the sectors which do not have very much privilege in terms of their access to gadgets, to devices, which can make education quality and accessible. And for the second topic, it was on cultural preservation. It was about my stand as the Philippines was about making sure that cultural property, whether it's in museums or still as artifacts, stay within their relevant cultural domain. So that would be for the Philippines and in Southeast Asia.
Quickly lang, Anton, how was this experience for you? No? Kasi syempre, you've met young people like you from other countries. I'm sure you engaged with them. Ano yung takeaway mo from this? At least as a personal takeaway from you, ano yung mga natutunan mo personally, and how is this going to help you, shape your dreams as you, move on to school and perhaps plan your career in the future?
So for the experience po, I think malaking bagay in terms of how I developed holistically and especially sa communication skills where you talk to people that English is not, hindi sila bilingually proficient sa English. So you had to understand, you had to make sure that what you understood from their statement is right. At the same time, making sure that your arguments and your statements are sensitive in a way that they would also understand and aligned sa parang views nila. So for my career po, I think it's a very memorable experience to say the least. Madami akong natutunan in terms of having to understand and having to listen and to think quickly.
Congratulations and thank you for joining us tonight. International Model United Nations 2022 Best Delegate and Best Position Paper awardee, Anton Benedict Garcia. Now,